pretty and sunny here, but it is frigid cold. Well, not really frigid cold. It's like 50, but it feels so cold. It's deceiving because the sun is shining. It's beautiful. Don't you wish you were here? It's so pretty. I wish you were here. We could have a full party, but you're not. So I'll just tell you what you're missing, which is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day in Portland, Oregon. Have a lot of fun planned for you today. With the sunshine, it makes me think of the tropics. So we're talking tropical flowers. Now, of course, the tropics would be a little warmer, so we don't have quite the excitement of the sunshine that way. But this will heat up the studio with beautiful tropical blooms and more. It's not all tropical because I've got jasmine vine, a ginger, some anthurium, some orchids, protea, not tropical, but it's exotic looking. More anthurium, some ginger, so many fun things. To catch you up, a little bit of housekeeping. If you're on your phone, turn it sideways. If you're on your computer, you can go to full screen. It'll be a little bit bigger. If you're on your TV, I'm larger than life already. Make sure you have your favorite beverage, and we'll get started. In the studio, we have a full house again. Oh my gosh, it's kind of crazy around here. You never know what's going to happen and who's going to show up. But today, you got me on camera, Ricky keeping us live and under control as best she can. Michelle's here with us. She's monitoring YouTube and Facebook. Ricky's on YouTube and Facebook and just kind of looking. They'll be watching for your questions. And we have a special guest in the studio. Yes. Kind of exciting. Many of you know this person. Name is Doug Kupfer. He is from Texas, El Paso to be exact, and he flew into town, so he'll be with us watching live to see what this all goes on. Virtually, we've got Susie. She's over on YouTube, Caledonia, hanging out on Facebook. And David, probably popping on both of them the way he does. Now it's your turn. What's your name? Where are you from? Start the tulip collaboration. Get to know each other. Introduce yourself. Say hello back and forth. Let us know what favorite beverage is at your side. Mine is coffee, sans cream, because I ran out a week ago and I keep forgetting to buy it. But it's still good coffee. So what's your beverage of choice? What's sitting in your cup or glass? Where are you from? If you're a first timer, let us know. And let's get started. We're going to do some fun floral design. This is a new vase that you have not seen before. And actually it's a very old vase that was gifted to me from Tulip Sherry. So thank you, Sherry. I've had it sitting on my desk for a little while, and it was kind of waiting for that perfect moment to design in. And when I started thinking of it tropical, I was like, okay, well, la 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 la. And then I asked teacher Michelle to stop on her way in this morning and buy a few more blooms because I thought I was a little bit short and I didn't think I had enough. I think I have plenty now. But she showed up with these amazing anthurium. Look at that. Can I get it on that? There we go. We get it on a close-up camera so you can see the color on that. It's just exquisite. And then I decided this vase, these anthurium, this is what it was made for. So that was my starting point, was to pull Sherry's vase, hide these flowers so that no one else would use them. And so I've got two of those exquisite anthurium, one of the ginger, isn't that beautiful? Again, the color is so grand. And then some flowering quince. The quince is actually left over from class. Yesterday we had, just a delightful group of students in class. They were doing the bespoke floral design. They did a hand tie with butterfly ranunculus and tulips and, oh my, roses, I don't remember what all. It was stunning. Jasmine vine. Then they did a compote and it had lilacs. Yes, lilacs are in season here in Portland. Again, don't you wish you were here? You can be. We've got one more class coming up. May 17, 18, 19, I believe. Yes, May 17, 18, 19. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's our only 3-day class that we do. It's the Designing for Competition and Evaluation Intensive. So if you're thinking about competition or testing for the American Institute of Floral Designers, come play with us. Our flowers are blooming, and we're going to have a pretty great class. And a little secret. You'll be the first to know the secret. Dove's going to come back and teach at that class. So Teacher Michelle, Teacher Leanne, Teacher Dove, all doing the Designing for Competition and Evaluation in May. So what's stopping you? Get on it. Come on. So I've got my flowers, I've got my vase, I've got my coffee. Who do I have out there in TV land?
Oh my goodness, they are chiming in, but we have pretty much covered every time zone in America. Connecticut, Vermont, Pennsylvania, California, Michigan, Indiana, Washington, Wisconsin, Oregon, Georgia, Delaware, Kentucky, Louisiana, and they're still chiming in. Can you tell I was a postmaster's daughter? Because I can look at 2 letters and I know exactly what state they're in.
I love it. You are good.
And then we are international, of course, as usual. We have Australia, Sweden, and from New Zealand, Heather is joining us live. She watches us, but this is her first time being able to be live with us.
Welcome, Heather. You know, it is fun to be live because you're part of the collaboration, part of the celebration, and you know, the Tulip Bunch are pretty fun people, so gathering together live, pretty great. What I'm doing is adjusting these so that I can get them to curve a little bit while I keep playing with my anthurium. Ricky, you got something there?
Yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to both Allison and Haley over on YouTube as well. They are also first timers.
Ah, Allison and Haley, first timers. I think, if it's the same Allison, I may have talked to you on the telephone today, Allison. Thanks for joining us. So I'm going to throw out a question because I know why Allison is here. You know, when you call Floral Design Institute many times, you get Leanne on the phone, and so then I know your secrets. So Allison is considering, thinking about, wondering about the online class. And she asked me why I thought it was the best. And I said, well, it's because it's the best. And we are the best, and what else would there be? But then I said, you know, why don't you show up at the live stream and we'll ask that question out to the group and just say, what do you think about Floral Design Institute? Have you taken classes? Would you do it again? Did you like it? Was it worth your investment of time and money? So all of you tulips that have been in class, YouTube, Facebook, chime in. Let Allison know, because inquiring minds want to know. Because the truth is, we are the best. I will say that over and over and over and over again. But when you hear it from me, you know I might be slightly biased, just slightly. But I can't lie. We are the best. And so now I just need you guys to back me up. So put in your 2 cents worth, and it's helpful if you let her know why you liked it so much. What was special about it? Because each of you have a little different thought on that, because you have different needs, different desires. So why did you think that it was a good choice and a good investment? So what I did, gave them a little curvature, then I mounted them together using floral tape. So when you're in basic floral design, you learn how to use floral tape. Normally it is to put an artificial stem on something using wire and tape, like for a corsage or a hand-wired bouquet. For this, I'm just using it to bind, another flower word, using my grown-up words here, to bind the stems together so that when I insert them, they'll stay in that same angle. So that's what I'm doing. Michelle, while I get these things, what's going on in your world?
Oh, well, Linda is over on YouTube, and she is back home in Florida now, but she just returned from the land of tulips in Amsterdam.
Oh, Linda, was it just wonderful? Oh, I'm so jealous. I have never been, and I want to do that. Someday, one of you tulips is going to be so rich and fabulous and successful that you decide to take me to Amsterdam. Wouldn't that be a good idea? Oh, a girl can dream. So you can see by mounting those together, I can just slide them in and get beautiful line already. Could stop there. I mean, isn't that graceful? But you know me, I can't stop there. I gotta do more, just a little bit more. So, have you got questions? Things you wanna know? Things you wanna share? We've got somebody back from Amsterdam. We've got 2 first-timers. What are they drinking? Have you told us what you have in your glass at your side? What's the beverage of choice today?
Well, I saw everyone's being quite good. I've seen coffee and tea and water. Nobody's imbibing.
No imbibing here because we're all working and we're being good kids.
Oh, and Tess said, Tess from Sweden said, if you do that, then you have to jump over to her for a visit.
Oh, I could do that. That would be fun. Good idea, Tess. You know, that's what's so great is we have friends all over the world, and no matter where I travel, which is pretty much domestically, I'll be honest, the North American continent, but everywhere I go, I run into tulips. And it just makes me happy. It's always a surprise. Sometimes I know I'm going to see them. Sometimes I just stumble upon it. And it's always such a treat. It just makes me thrilled when that happens. So now I've added my quince. So I have 2 main lines converging in the binding point to create my form. Or more flower school words. If you've been to flower school, you've heard these things. Then I'm going to place the ginger down low because it's big and it's heavy, it's dramatic, it's prominent, and if I don't place it low, it'll just overtake the design. So by placing it low, I also can make sure that I have a strong emphasis area. And its bulk will help hold everything in place so that it will then start being a more solid bouquet, something that could actually become deliverable, because before it was kind of wonky. I'm going to turn it around so you can see the back. Even though it's facing you, you can see the flowers are meant to face you. The back is turning out kind of pretty too. The quince comes out to the side, and then I can see I want to turn these a little more forward towards front more. There we go. So that they'll show even better. Get their faces up here. There we go. Come along, little guys. And bring these around. So just adjusting my lines a bit. And then of course, as always, we'll be photoing these tomorrow. And everything will get shifted a little bit because you know me, I start adjusting because I'm like, oh, I want it over here, I want it over there. So it may look slightly different, but not a lot. I think I'll keep it pretty much the same. Okay. Back to you. Then thinking about what else I might want in here. A little bit of lily grass could enhance my line. Give it a little bit of draping. Question of the day. See who answers first. Do anthurium go in the flower cooler? That's the first question. See who gets it. Yes or no. Anthurium in a flower cooler.
Oh my goodness. Hello. It's like the lottery here. First answer was Connie on YouTube with a resounding no.
Good. Okay, so Connie gets it first. So now the question, how low can they go? What temperature do they need to stay above? What is the recommended temperature baseline that they should never be below? So obviously not in the flower cooler, we know that answer. So how low can they go? I don't hear an answer. Come on, you guys, what's the temperature?
All right, Facebook finally woke up.
We're still thinking on YouTube.
YouTube's still circling. Have a couple answers on Facebook, one of which is correct, or two are correct, I would say. So we have a 50 degrees, a 34 degrees, and above 54 degrees.
Ooh, so a little varied from what we teach here at Flower School. And I'll give it to you with some variation because there are going to be different opinions. We teach 55 Fahrenheit as the minimum. So whoever said 54 probably got it there the closest. But 55 is what we teach here so that your flowers stay happy and don't end up needing a jacket. Poor little things get cold and shiver.
YouTube finally caught up, and most of them are saying 50 plus degrees. Richard said 70 to 75, so my guess is he's somewhere that it's already warm.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, what temperature is suggested for protea? I already told you it's not a tropical. So what temperature do you think for a protea? We're really getting into flower school today. This is kind of like, whoa, I'm making you work. So adding just a few Gaelics to get some depth in there, and terracing them, another flower school word. So did we get some response from students as to the classes and why they should come? Or do we need to ask for that again?
No, there are lots of responses. Ricky, did you have any over on YouTube? I was scrolling Facebook.
Yeah, we had a bunch over here on YouTube. Rich shared that he took the online course and enjoyed them for many reasons, including being able to study, practice, and get feedback based on his schedule. Victoria said that she really enjoyed the online class as a great investment for her professional and personal development. She's a current student and learning so much.
Yay. Thanks, guys. If you haven't chimed in yet, please do. It's just nice for others to hear directly from you rather than just from me, because I'm going to tell you all day long, Floral Design Institute is the best, bar none, and I can promise you that, and I'm so excited because we're even going to be better for the designing for competition and evaluation with adding in an extra teacher, flying in from El Paso, Texas. Dove is coming to teach. Yeah, you heard it here first. No one else knew that. Well, we knew it, the staff knew it, but now you know it very first. So I'm going to set this one aside. I want to point out that I really stuck with the tropicals, just accented a little bit with the quints. But that doesn't mean that tropicals always have to be done with just tropicals. It's totally fine to mix and match them with other flowers, and that's where we're going to go next. So I'm going to set this aside. Teacher Michelle, what you got?
Well, some of the tulips that chimed in on Facebook, there were a lot, but I'll just grab a couple here. Robin said, best instructors, valuable feedback, comprehensive course material, and so convenient in the online. And then Sherry said, it's just so worth it, those classes. Educational level is superb and teacher support is always there. The exposure to basics is incredible. Best bang for my buck ever, plus the tulip support.
Oh, guys. Sometimes it just almost brings a tear to my eye. It makes me so happy to hear from you. We do work hard to try to keep a good community and strong support for you. And you know, you always worry, are we good enough? Oh, am I an imposter? Is it okay? And so, thank you for that validation. I appreciate it. And for those that are thinking about flower school, hopefully that gives you a little bit of comfort to know that it's not a waste of your time, not a waste of your money, that it is a good investment, and that it does allow you to do something you love with flowers. What I'm doing is taking off some of that midrib. Let's see if I can get that to show. You can see I've scraped that off so that I'm removing it. And the reason I'm doing that is I can then turn it and place it inside the vase. I'm not worrying about lining the entire thing. I just want to get a little bit of color in here. Maybe I'll do 2 leaves, just for some contrast, so it's not a plain clear vase, something a little bit more. So I'm surprised we haven't had tropical questions. Did anybody come up with a temperature for the protea?
Got a few. I've got a 34, an 80s, a 40, also 54, and some repetition of those.
34 would be a kind of where you want to be. It'd be 34 to 38 is the range. So whoever guessed in there, good job. Now, many flower coolers, they don't keep quite that cold because they are trying to adapt to a lot of different types of flowers. So they might keep it at 45 or something. But really, a flower cooler should be around that 34 to 38 range. Same, what we tell you in class, so no surprises there. And Protea like the flower cooler. They really do, so they're best there. Teacher Michelle.
Well, here's a question that popped in on tropicals. 2-parter. 1, do all tropicals need the same temperature? And do you consider tuberose to be a tropical?
Excellent question. And yes, tuberose are considered to be tropical. Tuberose do not like to be in the flower cooler, which always surprises me because they're always in the flower cooler when we go to our markets. And yet we know it's not supposed to be, so I find that interesting. Don't know why, it's just a fact. Do all flowers in the tropical family have the same temperature needs? No, they would vary. Do I know what the variations are? No, I don't, sorry. I do know that David has been working diligently for the past several weeks on updating our flower library on the website. So if you go to flowerschool.com, flowersdesignhistory.com, whichever way you like to go, and go to the resources tab, then go to the flower library. He's updated it with many more varieties and much more fact-based information, including temperatures and such. So if there's some variations that we know of, he may have included it there. I can't tell you for fact because I haven't looked at all of it, because there's hundreds of pages. It's like, oh my gosh. It's funny because Doug was going through our website and the flower school, and he was looking at it, he says, you have a typo in there. And I think he said, I think he already found 2 typos. I'm like, oh, dang. And he's like, well, would you like to know? And I'm like, yes, I would like to know. We haven't fixed it yet, but he's a good proofreader, and so he had found typos. And then I had to laugh because I'm like, we have hundreds of thousands of pages and thousands and thousands and thousands of pages. There's got to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of typos, and we keep trying to find them and trying to fix them, but there they are, it's just that way. So now I created a grid to give a little bit of support, and then I'm going to start flowering. I do have some tea leaves in there. I could go ahead and add a tea leaf towards the top as well, and do a little bit of foliage manipulation, maybe staple it so that it holds it in place. Give it a cut, drop it down in. You don't want to always just take a leaf and let it fly. Because it's just too big. You don't want it to be quite so bulky. So taking the moment of just adjusting, manipulating, changing it around. Gives you a different look to the design, adds a little bit of creative flair, some style, and it doesn't take any time. It's easy. Now, if you didn't have a stapler at hand, you could use glue strips. You could wire it. There's lots of different things you could do. You can adjust it. So then what else do I want to put in here? Maybe a non-tropical, Israeli ruscus.
So Leanne, there was a question, what's your favorite tropical? We know you like daffodils.
Oh my gosh, yes, I love daffodils, and oh, they're so beautiful right now. Wish you could see them. By the time designing for competition comes, the daffodils will be gone. But there'll be other flowers, but the daffodils right now are just splendid, and we have so many local growers that are bringing in really unique varieties that they're growing, that it's just, oh, the fragrance, the colors, the shapes, the sizes, so dramatic. So back to my favorite tropical. You know, I vary quite a bit actually, but it seems like I always fall in love with the Sherry Baby Oncidium orchid. It's kind of a bronzy brown color, and it has a nice fragrance to it, which not all tropicals have fragrance. So that is one of my all-time favorites. And then there's a hot orange, tangerine orange, anthurium. I don't know the name of it, but it is so vibrant tangerine. They're grown in Hilo, Hawaii at Greenpoint. That flower, I don't see it very often, but when I do, I'm just like, whoa, that's so cool. Very, very cool. And then I do like the miniature Phalaenopsis. They're a favorite too. So that I had bought for today because I like them so much. So I'm going to add in some carnations. Not a tropical, but what I want to do is use it for a base level. Many of you, when you submit your lessons online, we might write back, you know, if you adjusted the height of your flowers, adding some different layers, you get greater depth in the design. Well, that's what I am demonstrating here, is greater depth in the design by placing some things down very low, right at the lip, and then some just a little higher, but tucking them low. So you can see how they just rest in there, creating a lower level of the arrangement. Okay. Then maybe coming back with something different. Oh, jasmine vine, look at this. Jasmine vine would be great.
You're actually just super on trend, Leanne, combining temperates with tropicals.
We try to be on trend. Once in a while we get it. Yeah. It's kind of funny because trends change, and I know that, and they evolve, but some of you may be noticing that we have a new email that we're sending out on Saturdays. We call it the Saturday Showcase, and we're going back and picking videos that we had released 2 or 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Some of them are quite old, but we're picking older videos and re-releasing them, calling them Saturday Showcase. And I have had so much fun because I'm discovering that for years I tell you, we've been practicing eco-design. We've been foam-free, we've had floral netting, we've had natural mechanics, we've had armatures, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's old is new again. But you know, that's the thing with trends. It's really oftentimes just a rediscovery of something that has already been done. And it's just kind of fun to think, oh yeah, we've been doing that. But yes, combining tropicals and non-tropical, neotropical, gives you a whole different look. You see? So bringing in a little bit of the jasmine vine, wrapping it around, feeding it in and out, starting to get a little bit more dimension to the arrangement. Then Okay, I have to use these just because they're so beautiful. Bringing in the miniature phalaenopsis and letting it come up and over. And maybe another one. Letting it come even out and drapey. Be a little bit shorter.
So Jim's asked the tulips a question. He says, what's Leanne's favorite oldest foliage? Hint, its genetics go back 95 million years. Leave it to Jim.
And I don't know.
I do, you
I
know.
love it. My favorite oldest foliage. Would it be Galix, maybe? Because I know I love Galix, but is Galix that old? Jim, is that true? Oh my gosh. Okay, everybody in the tulip bunch, let's bow to Jim, our scientist of the bunch. He is always willing to do the research. In fact, I had someone, Veronique maybe? I think it was her. She's from Canada, and she says, Leanne, what flowers were in the 50s? And I'm like, how would I know? I wasn't even born. Nah, well, we're not going to go there. But she's like, what flowers were born in the 50s, or were in the 50s? And I thought, oh, wow, okay, carnations, roses, gladiolas. And then I said, you know, I'm just going from my supposition. Why don't you pose that question in the tulip bunch? Because I know we have some very research-driven people in there. And I don't know if she ever did or not. I hope so, because I knew that she would find answers. And I knew I would learn from that too, because I always learn from you. That is the favorite thing of being part of the tulips. Look at this anthurium. I should have held it up for you to see. I'll grab another one. This one, the color is just so pretty. Let's get it into that camera. Yeah, I'm actually using the close-up camera today. I'm not very good at this, but I'm trying.
You're doing great.
Bringing that in. So, anthurium, miniature phalaenopsis, carnations, jasmine vine, all together. Some people would say it's blasphemy. I say it's beauty me.
Well, they're all chiming in with a bunch of different foliages, and none of them are correct yet.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh. Even though I told them. Was I wrong?
Oh, yes.
I was wrong. Oh no! I was wrong. Oh my goodness. I have to think now. What could it be? Look at these ranunculus. Okay, another flower. The color is so cool. The color is just the nice cloudy, beautiful. No fragrance, but the ranunculus is great. Local grown, right here, actually outside of the Portland area, Hillsborough. So, okay, if I go through my favorite foliages, Galix I love, duh. Magnolia, which you've seen me use that oftentimes in the Christmas and the autumn because I like that copper and dark green reversal. So maybe it's Magnolia. Will that work? Oh, somebody tell me, please. If it's that old though, that's just kind of amazing. Huh. You know what just popped to mind of being that old would be something like a laurel. Think about the wreaths that were worn by the Greeks. I would think, oh, a laurel would be that old, but I don't know that I designed with laurel really, so that probably wouldn't have been listed as a favorite. Okay. Now I'm coming in with ranunculus at another level, letting them be taller. As Carolyn would have said, go tall and then go even taller. Go out of your comfort zone. So for Carolyn's sake, I'm going out of my comfort zone, taller and taller.
Well, It's magnolia was the one that he was indicating. But they've thrown out some good options in here for you.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Jim. And magnolia it is. That's the old foliage. That's fascinating. Very fascinating. Okay. So you can see just tucking, adding, bringing up different layers, creating depth, space, grouping, giving it a more contemporary vibe. I need to bring some things out here. I'm a little bit flat. You don't want to be flat. Flat is bad. And oh, this could be fun. I bought this a week ago. We were doing a private class on how to make a peacock. Yes, we taught a private class on how to make a peacock. Teacher Michelle nailed it. But Teacher Leanne found the cool fern, and it really made it special. The color is great. So it's dyed and painted, so it's kind of a lacquer on it. And I'm going to bring that around to pull the arrangement outward. Okay. And again. This just gives it a little more depth to the design, creates more excitement, and changes it all out. What do you think? Do you like that in there? It's kind of weird, but isn't it wonderful? I'm not a fan of painted and dyed flowers, but you know what? I'm using them more and more because they do enhance mini arrangement. So, pretty fun. So I'm going to set that one aside. Ooh, I'm seeing a problem. Did you notice that when I turned it around? See how the stems went on the outside of the leaf? Bad. So I have to either relocate those flowers so that their stems are not back there, or if I was too lazy to do that, I would just take another leaf and put it around the outside of the container, and then it would never show, which that's the way I do it sometimes. So there's always a backup plan. But if you were doing this and you saw that, that's wrong. You can't do that. So we'll turn it back around so you don't see that. How's that? Now it's beautiful. So I set this one aside, and then I have one more arrangement that I want to share with you. You know we always work in threes. That's the deal around here. Are you ready for this? I know, it's kind of exciting.
Well, they liked that last one, but
Did you like that?
yes.
Okay, well, you're gonna love this then. Okay, and another arrangement. Like I have lots of room here. Already made it. Already done. I did not make it. What do you think? How cool is that? Tropical splendor, wouldn't you say? Yes. Our special guest made it. When Dove came in this morning, I said, hey, would you make an arrangement for the live stream? And he's like, sure. And I said, well, here's what I got. And he quickly went to the paint aisle. And then he gathered things up, went through my vase aisle, and this is what he made. So Dove, I want you to come up and talk with us about this. And then you all, if you've got questions about it, can I get part of it onto the, does that show on the?
Close up.
Is that,
Give me just 1 second.
okay, she's trying to get the close-up so they can see that. And so, let's see.
Yes, it's up there.
Okay, so guys, take a look at that, because then we're gonna move it back so you can see the whole arrangement, and then we'll also let you see Dove, and then we're gonna have a chit chat and answer questions for you. So get your fingers typing, and he's going to talk to us about his inspiration, but the quality and the intrigue and the creativity, this is why we're bringing him back for designing for competition. Right here, you get to see it. Okay, so I'm gonna scoot it behind this Dove, and that way they can see the whole thing, because the top is tall. I know, he said, how tall can I go? And I said, well, keep it in the camera, and then he just kept going up, but that way it works. So welcome.
Thank you, I'm so excited to be here, it's not even funny. It's been a dream of mine for, I can't even tell you how many years since I first met Leanne.
You know, I was trying to remember what year, because Dove and I have worked with the American Institute of Floral Designs for years, because when I was working with the membership team, we needed a mentoring committee, which that sounds all fine and dandy, but you need a mentoring chair that is fabulous. And you are the best.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And it's been what, 15 years, 10 years?
At least, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
And
I've been extremely blessed.
And you have blessed so many people. That'll be a question that I have for you. Have you worked with Dove through his mentoring on the PFDE and the AIFD? How many of you know Dove? Go ahead and type it in there, say, oh yeah, I did, or yeah, because I know many of you are fans. And I've always thought about, oh, who would I bring in for this class? And finally, it was like, you know what, we're just gonna do it. And so I just reached out to him a little bit ago. It hasn't been very long, and he didn't even hesitate. He's like, yes. So I said, well, come on up, get to know us and see if it's still a yes. And it's still a yes.
It's still a yes.
I love it. Oh my God.
It's still
So,
a yes. Oh
what
my
color
gosh.
did you use?
I use rose gold. It's trendy right now. Everybody is using that instead of the golds and the silvers. The rose gold has that little extra red in it, so it just pulls out more color. It's one of my favorite metallics at this point in time. Of course, the Protea for the focal area, and then I used the walnuts.
Oh, the glossy
walnuts. I can't
yeah.
remember the exact
Is
name.
it red walnut? No, it's
Redwood? I
They're
remember.
one of the glossy
Yes.
design masters. They're a translucent spray as opposed to the opaque. So this is opaque, this is translucent.
Right, I used them on the mini heliconia. And then I just used the Eryngium, and I had to throw chartreuse green into it, because chartreuse green is my color. So there it is. And of course the lines go up, and there's framing, and there's the different lineal elements to it, and there's line and movement and rhythm and focal, and all of it. All the principles and elements are within the design.
And this is all shiny. You found my leaf shine.
I did.
know, the man
Am I not allowed?
the man has been going through my shelves. I'm like, okay, put a childproof gate up. I love it. Oh my gosh. So did you finish off the back?
Yes, it's just foliage.
Okay, so, but it's got dimension. It comes out. with
Right, the
backs here.
faxia leaves are amazing.
They are so great. We use those quite a bit around here. So, and then seeded eucalyptus. Okay. And then the Princess Midori spray roses are kind of in my favorite. He said because of the color, I love them for their texture as well as the color. So,
Agreed.
what do you want to know? What are you going to ask him?
I also took some of the stem area, the stem pieces, and laid them across to give a little bit more of a different kind of accent, both the green and the painted ones.
So are they just laid across the top?
They're laid across the top and then they're picked in.
Picked in to make sure they stay put.
Correct.
So they're not speared through.
No.
I knew
I used 2 mini Koi picks and tied them together and
And put down. Okay, absolutely grand. Now, in doing this, what would you call your primary line?
oh good lord. My verticals.
Yeah, I would agree. Because I always, when we talk to students, I'm like, okay, make sure you focus on a primary line. You can have more than one, but one has to be more prominent. So your prominent was the verticals, and the framing still reinforces. And so I would say the whole section would be your
Correct.
prominent line. Secondary line would be depth.
Horizontal.
That's what I would do. And then I would say this would be almost an accent line, just to
Correct.
get some movement. So it's, and then there's this line coming in too.
I'm a real funny stickler when it comes to lineal design. That's my go-to.
To have as many,
As many lines as possible, but yet not opposing each other, but working with each other.
okay. Then the other thing that he always does is make sure that they dissect the emphasis perfectly, which is established with the protea, and then everything feeds into there. So Teacher Michelle, you've got a question.
I do. There's a question from Harmony. She wondered what the mechanics were. Is that in foam?
It is in foam. It's just a small little square block of the floral foam, and it's taped in.
So it's got the control from the phone taped into place. Good question, Harmony. Anybody else have a question out there? This is your chance.
Victoria's got a question for you. She's wondering how you came up with the design. Did you sketch it out on paper first? Did you just let the flowers speak to you?
It just happened. It just happened. A lot of my designs just kind of morphed themselves together. I actually started with these two as my main lines and then just went from there. So it was this one, then I added the heliconia there, and then I put the protein, and then I started working the other lines around.
So placing the ginger as a frame, heliconia as the reinforcement through the center, then the protea, and then fill it.
Correct.
Interesting. That's kind of. So do you like to work symmetrically or asymmetrically the most?
I do a lot more asymmetrically than symmetrically. That's just the way I am.
Okay. Little bent to the side.
A little bent. Yeah.
So I know when we do the designing for competition class, we haven't gone over the full curriculum with Doug yet. We've got to sit down and hash that all out. But he'll be doing segments of the days where he'll share techniques that he uses to add flair to the design and then help maintain the lines, form, space, texture, all your elements and principles. And then he'll also be helping us as we review and evaluate so that you know exactly what to do to make it a little bit better, or what is the perfection point and what could have a little bit of tweaking. So it should be grand fun. Excellent. Any other questions for him?
Could you go through the flowers that are in there again? We had a couple people chime in that missed what some of the
Why don't we
species
bring
were.
it up front again so that
You
it's
can
a little
help me, 'cause
closer, and then you go through and point and name.
Or most of them anyway. Ginger, heliconia, parakeet heliconia, protea, eryngium, seeded eucalyptus, the lily grass, fatula leaves. I used ruscus, and this one
Is
reminds
the
me.
Princess Midori spray rose. We have a Tulip Tuesday coming up on that, so this was actually left over from our Tulip Tuesday filming. So you can watch for that. It'll probably be another month or so before it's out, but the Princess Midori.
And that's it.
Yeah, I think so.
That's it.
And then the stems are both from ginger and heliconia?
Correct.
Okay, so we've got that in there. So,
So you've got a contrast.
which
At
is
the same
always
time.
important. Yeah. So those of you that are interested, Designing for Competition Evaluation, May 17, 18, 19, held here in Portland, Oregon. It's not online. That one is an intensive hands-on with us. So come join us. Doug will be here, Michelle will be here, I'll be here. We're going to have a good time. So I'm going to make one more arrangement. Why don't you sit down
I'm
and
gonna go
rest
have
for a
seat.
second?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to set this back here because it's so beautiful. I'm going to do one more design real quick.
So while you pull your stuff together, Leanne, Cynthia, who just graduated a month ago, said, or had a question, how long do you expect that arrangement to last with ample water?
Doug, do you want to answer that? How long do you think that'll last?
I've had them last 2-3 weeks.
Okay, very long. Because they do, even as they start to dry, look beautiful. So 2 to 3 weeks and they're good. Okay. If you've got more questions for him, he's here. And but I just figured, well, we've got 10 more minutes. I better make an arrangement. We can't waste our time here. We have flowers and try and make things that are pretty. So I grabbed another container off my shelf and putting in an anchor pin down in the bottom. And then just a small bit of the midnight foam. And that's taller than I want it to be, a bit shorter this way. Nope, so I'll just have to cut it down. Because I don't want it to be above the container, I want it to stay low. I'm just gonna cut that down again.
Rick had a comment about how long the tropicals will last. He said, I always tell customers, the flowers will last longer than a bad relationship.
Ooh. Well, I guess that's good. Yeah.
Oh, and here's a question from Victoria for you, Dove. How long did it take you to make that arrangement?
Oh my goodness.
4 hours.
I wanted it to be perfect, but it took like 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. It was very fast because he had other things he was doing today. So it was like, you got this long. Yeah, I would figure 20 minutes-ish because yeah, he was like, oh yeah, I'll do that. I got it. Probably half of that was spent looking for my sprays and my vases.
They're loving that container, Leanne.
Isn't that one beautiful? It was gifted to me by a woman who had collected lots of different vessels that she studied at Gabbana and was a world traveler, and so many of the different things came from her travels, and she'd find something that would be a beautiful Gabbana vessel. So then I figured out what I'm putting in it, because I didn't really think that far ahead. Wow. Which tropicals do I want to use? I've got to do something here.
You could do a companion piece to Dove's
But
with
then
your
I have
ginger and your protea.
But I have to try to make as good as Dove. Oh my gosh!
Similar but different.
Similar but different. One that's pretty and one that's not. No, when he had made that, I came into the office afterwards and I said, Michelle, we're in trouble. He is too good for us. Yes. He's going to up our game. So, following along somewhat as he did, I'm bringing in one angle. Wedging it, just like when we taught you in class to wedge it so that it will stay in the foam in the angle that you place. Coming back with another. And I'm not going to frame mine, I'm going to have mine reinforcing their line so that they're going both ways. Bring it up and over. And then I'll use a little bit of the jasmine, just because you know jasmine season is not forever. And whenever it's here, I put it in just about everything because I love it. It just is so beautiful.
And against that black container, it looks
Does it
so
work well?
hot.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
it's great.
So I don't even have to do pretty, I just have pretty flowers and so everything will turn out okay. You know, sometimes that's really what you need. If you've got pretty flowers, you can do anything. But the secret is getting pretty flowers. The season is good though right now for flowers with everything coming into bloom. So students are having easier time hunting for the materials they want to use in class. Just makes life easier and they can create beauty for usually less money too because it's in season. And some are finding that they're able to start foraging in their garden or their neighbor's garden or the parking lot down the street. Just make sure you ask permission or else wear your running shoes, but be polite. Only steal from people that would let you, you know? And then take them an arrangement as a thank you so that you're definitely giving them back for what they provided you. So filling in my emphasis, so I am following along with the same type of design he did with line, emphasis, carrying through, then show you. I'm not going to cut it down because it's too lovely. But look at this bromeliad. Is that not exquisite? When you find cool things like this, make sure you use it in its entirety. You don't want to chop it up into a little tiny short piece because you're losing its value. But what you can do is remove lower laterals now I can design with these and sell them and charge for them, and I still have a beautiful spike that I can use in another arrangement and get full value. So I don't want to just chop out the center of the top or something, but pulling a lateral or two, that gives you the ability to still turn around and sell it later for a full good value. I'll hold this up to the little camera because this stuff, I had never seen it before. It was new to me and I just fell in love with it. I thought, oh, is that not so cool? It's just like magic. And the coloration on it is so good. I have a feeling it's going to last quite well. It won't be a short timer. So then I find, where do I want it to go? I think I'm going to use it to carry your eye outward. Sorry, I have to face me on this one because it's a little trickier. When you're doing linear design, I find it's harder to design backwards because you've got to get your things in the right spot. And if it's in the wrong spot, it's wrong. There's not a gray area there. So I have to have it with me. Okay. Now, I pulled you from the front through the protea to the back so that it's not flat back here. And I've got dimension. Got a little bit more that I can stick in here. Where do I want it to go? I don't want it to be too contradictory. Let's see here. I'm going to just keep it right here with the other so that I don't get too spread out. So I just enhanced coming through. So now I have main line, alternating line, all dissecting the emphasis area. By sticking with this monochromatic with the pinks, I have unity throughout. And then I can go back and start filling in, covering my mechanics, adding other things for a little bit of interest. Don't know, do I want to try something like this? No, I don't. Just to kind of come in a little bit, give it a little bit of movement. This is foxtail fern or mire eye. And just kind of molding it a bit. And get it cut. And come out from this side. And another.
When you were talking about foraging, Heather said, "My husband always tells me that I'm going to get arrested one day for foraging."
You gotta be a little careful. Like if you stop on a highway or a freeway, if you stop on a freeway in Oregon, the fine is $500. Not that I would know. But you do want to be a little cautious because you don't want to get run over. A dead florist is not a good florist. So, and being in jail is not a fun thing either. So be really cautious about where you forage. Plus, sometimes you might end up like in stinging nettles or poison ivy or poison oak. So I love to forage, but I am very careful. And I've only had to run a couple of times, but I wish I had some magnolia to put in here.
I think we finally threw out the last branch. It was haunting the back of the cooler.
I know, because it just lasts and lasts and lasts. Oh my goodness. Okay, that leaf is just too big back there. Notice that? It's just wrong. So I'm going to take that back out. I'm not going to finish this one on camera because I think I need some more Galix to kind of finish it off. And I'm thinking that I have some deep, intense purple status in the cooler, and I think that would be stunning based at the bottom to give a little bit of contrast and texture. So tomorrow when you see this in the photograph, you're probably going to see some status in there. I bet you anything. So, Doug, why don't you come up with me on camera for a second so they can have one more look at you and your amazing arrangement. So, If you enjoyed seeing his design, come join us for Designing for Calm. And you know what? You just might see this face around once in a while. Or if you see him in Texas, you know where to find him there. So, Doug, thank you for joining us. I appreciate your bravery to come on camera without any warning. And saying, just go make an arrangement. And in fact, we gave him this one and said, well, it's kind of dead. And he says, not a problem. And it's beautiful. Good job. Okay, we'll see you all next week. Get out there and do something you love. We are too. See you later.